We thought we were helping. We thought we were protecting them. But now, in the quiet of the later years, we realize some of the words we spoke to our children, out of love, fear, or pride, left more scars than we ever meant to. Not all regrets come from what we failed to say. Some come from what we said too quickly, too harshly, too often. If you're over 60, you may recognize these. And if you're still raising or relating to your grown children, these are 5 mistakes you can still avoid. This is not about blame. It's about healing and wisdom. Let's begin. It sounded noble at the time. We told them to be strong, to stand tall, to hide their tears, to never complain, to keep going, no matter how hard it gets. And they did. They became tough, composed, self-sufficient. But now, as we look at them through older eyes, we see something we missed. They're exhausted. Where it came from? We came from a different generation. One where survival often depended on stoicism. There wasn't time to fall apart. So we didn't. We believed emotions were a luxury. That strength meant silence. That pain was weakness leaking out. And so, without realizing it, we taught them, be strong, or be nothing. The hidden consequence. Now, our children carry pain they never speak of. They suffer in silence, just like we did. They hide their anxiety behind a smile. They drown their sadness in work. They say, I'm fine, when they're falling apart. They take on the world, but forget themselves. Some of them have never cried in front of their own children, because they learned from us that tears are shameful. But what we thought was protection might have been emotional isolation. A senior's reflection. I told my son to be strong like his father. Now he doesn't even talk to me about his divorce. He just swallows everything. I never wanted him to suffer alone. What we should have said instead. It's okay to cry. Being vulnerable doesn't make you weak. You can ask for help. That's strength too. Feel everything. Then decide what to do. There's no shame in breaking down. Strength isn't about never falling. It's about knowing how to rise, with support, honesty, and heart. What you can still say today. It's never too late to shift the message. Try this. I wish I'd told you it's okay to not be okay. You don't have to carry everything alone. If you ever need to talk, I'll listen, without fixing or judging. That sentence alone can change decades of emotional distance. Final thought for mistake number 1. Being strong without softness is like a tree without roots. If you want your children to grow whole, not just hardened, let them know. It's human to feel. It's healing to share. It's brave to be open. It sounded heroic, selfless, noble. We said it with love. We said it with pride. Sometimes we even said it with a touch of bitterness. I gave up everything for this family. I could have done more, but I chose to raise you. I set my dreams aside for you. And we believed that was the right thing to do. In some ways, maybe it was. But now, looking back, we realize what our children really heard was, my unfulfilled life is your fault. The subtle burden we passed down. They never asked us to give up our dreams. But we gave them up anyway. And in doing so, we taught them that dreams are selfish. That family comes at the cost of self. That duty matters more than purpose. That sacrificing joy is a sign of love. Now, many of them carry a quiet guilt. Some feel unworthy of pursuing their own passions. Some work jobs they hate, living lives that feel numb, because deep down they believe, if my parents gave up their happiness for me, then I must do the same. A senior's reflection. I used to be a painter. I stopped when the kids came. I told them it was for them. Now my daughter won't take her writing seriously. She says it's not practical. I think I taught her to settle, and I regret it. The legacy of suppressed dreams. When we model martyrdom, we raise children who abandon their passions for approval, confuse self-sacrifice with love, resent their families quietly, feel selfish for simply wanting more. We didn't mean to do this. We thought we were doing the right thing. But now, in this season of life, we realize a parent who pursues their own joy doesn't abandon their child. They teach them how to live. What we should have said instead: I have dreams too, and they matter. You deserve a life that excites you. Your passion is a gift. Follow it. You don't need to sacrifice everything to be loved. Fulfillment is not selfish. It's spiritual. We were trying to protect them. But sometimes, the best protection is inspiration. What you can still say today. Even now, your words have power. Try this. I want you to live boldly. I want you to chase what makes you come alive. I didn't always do that, but it's my wish for you. And if you can, pursue something now. Passion. A hobby. A purpose. Not just for you, but to show them that it's never too late. Final thought for mistake number 2. The greatest inheritance we can give our children is not money or even wisdom. It's permission to be fully alive. They asked why, and we shut them down. They questioned our rules, and we saw it as disrespect. They pushed back, and we pushed harder. Because I said so. I'm the parent, you're the child. Don't question me. Just obey. We thought we were setting boundaries. We thought we were keeping order. We thought we were raising respectful children. And in some ways, we were. But what we didn't realize is that we were also teaching them something else. That their voice didn't matter. That curiosity was rebellion. That authority doesn't need to earn trust, it demands it. The doors it closed. In trying to be firm, we built walls. Walls that made it harder for our children to come to us with doubts. Admit mistakes. Share emotions. Trust their own reasoning. Now that they're adults, some of them still fear confrontation, avoid conflict, struggle to express disagreement, crave approval from authority figures, and some have distanced themselves emotionally from us, not because they hate us, but because they never felt truly heard. A senior's reflection. My son asked me once why he couldn't go to art school. I told him, because I said so. He stopped asking me anything after that. I realize now, I didn't just shut down that question. I shut down his voice. What it really did. When we silence our children instead of engaging them, we confuse fear with respect. We suppress their independence. We teach them to obey, but not to think. We trade control for connection. And as they grow older, they remember that silence. What we should have said instead. Let me explain why I feel this way. Here's what I'm trying to protect you from. I want you to understand, not just obey. Let's talk about it together. It's okay to disagree, as long as we're respectful. Rules matter, but so does relationship. Obedience without understanding creates distance. Guidance with dialogue builds trust. What you can still say today. It's never too late to open the door you once closed. Try this. I wish I'd listened more when you were younger. I see now how much your voice matters. I want to hear your thoughts, even if we don't always agree. That small shift, of letting them speak, can repair years of silence. Final thought for mistake number 3. Our children don't need perfect parents. They need present ones. Ones who listen. Ones who reflect. Ones who say, I'm still learning, and I want to learn with you. We never meant to manipulate. We only wanted what was best for them. We just wanted them to stay close. To choose the right path. To not drift too far from what we believed was safe. But somewhere along the way, we used words like, after all I've done for you. If you really loved me. You're breaking your mother's heart. I gave up my life for this family, and this is how you repay me. We thought we were expressing hurt. But what our children heard was emotional debt. Guilt is a silent chain. It doesn't raise its voice. It doesn't argue. It just sits there, like a heavy weight around their decisions. And so they stay in marriages they hate. Choose careers they don't love. Visit out of duty, not desire. Feel anxious whenever they hear our voice. Say yes when they mean no, just to avoid conflict. They become adults who confuse guilt with love. And deep down, they carry the fear that their happiness will somehow hurt us. A senior's reflection. I used to say to my daughter, "You're the only thing I live for." I thought it was beautiful. But I see now, it was a burden. She felt she couldn't move an inch without betraying me. I regret that more than anything. The consequence: love with strings attached. When we use guilt to shape our children's choices, even subtly, we damage their ability to trust their own voice. We train them to feel responsible for our emotions. We blur the line between love and control. We create a relationship where freedom feels like betrayal. And then we wonder why they visit less. Why they don't call as often. Why they keep certain things secret. What we should have said instead. I want what's best for you, even if it's not what I imagined. You don't owe me your life. You owe yourself your truth. I'll always love you, no matter the path you take. Your happiness brings me peace, even if it takes you far from me. I trust you to make the decisions that are right for you. Love that demands sacrifice becomes a transaction. Love that releases becomes freedom. What you can still say today. It's never too late to let go and love more fully. Try this. I may have made you feel like you had to choose between your happiness and me. I was wrong. I want you to live freely. And I will be here, always cheering you on. Those words can undo decades of quiet guilt. Final thought for mistake number 4. Control feels like protection. But it's not. Love that sets conditions isn't love. It's fear in disguise. If we want real connection, we must say, "You owe me nothing. My love is not a leash. It's a light to guide you, no matter where you go." We wanted to be strong, to protect them from our flaws, to show them the right way to live. So we put on the mask. We kept it all together. We didn't cry in front of them. We didn't talk about our failures. We didn't share our doubts. We told them, "I'm fine. Don't worry about me. Do as I say." We became the pillar. But what they needed was a person. What they missed. They saw our strength, but not our story. They saw our rules, but not our reasons. They saw discipline, but not vulnerability. And now that they're older, some of them think we don't understand them, feel disconnected from our inner world, struggle to share their own mistakes, believe they have to fake it too. By hiding our own pain, we taught them to hide theirs. By pretending we always had the answers, we robbed them of the chance to help us. A senior's reflection. I always tried to be the strong mother. I never cried in front of them. But now I see, they never knew me. They loved me, but they didn't really know what I was going through. I wish I had let them in. The myth of parental perfection. We thought that showing weakness would confuse them, that admitting mistakes would diminish our role. But the opposite is true. When parents show their humanity, their children learn that failure is normal, that vulnerability is courageous, that love includes imperfection, that connection grows through truth. And more importantly, they feel safe to be human too. What we should have said instead. I made mistakes too. There are things I regret, and I want to share them with you. I get scared sometimes. I didn't always know what I was doing. I'm still growing. No child wants a perfect parent. They want a parent they can talk to. One who knows what it's like to fall, and still chooses to rise. What you can still say today. Even now, you can open the door that was once closed. Try this. You've always seen me as strong. But I've had my struggles too. I don't want you to think you have to be perfect to be loved. I want to tell you more about who I really am. That moment of openness can rebuild bridges that have been quiet for years. Final thought for mistake number 5. To be seen for who we really are. That's all we've ever wanted. And that's all our children want too. So now, in this chapter of life, we get a second chance. To not just be parents, but to be human beings who share, reflect, and love with open hands. Because when we stop pretending, We invite our children into the full circle of life. If this video has made you reflect, feel, or remember, you're not alone. These mistakes don't make you a bad parent. They make you human. And now, you have the power to turn regret into wisdom, to speak words you never said, to listen in ways you never did, to show your heart, not just your history. Comment below, which mistake resonated most with you? Share this video with another parent who still has time to connect. Subscribe to The Elder Way for more real conversations, gentle truth, and the path to peace. Because love, when we give it freely and honestly, heals in both directions. This is The Elder Way.